The physical, psychological, and social impact of HIV on individuals and families. Infections with HIV and AIDS leads to numerous bodily, mental, and social issues that affect the individual and impacts on their families and communities at large.
Znanga ndine Christine Mukwasa, ninkala kuchimani mani, paji 2058, nili na 22 years old, na mwana umozi.
Christine Mukwasa is one of the DREAMS beneficiaries at Ngungu Dreams Center in Kabwe, who was enrolled and taken through the stepping stones methodology, thus accessing services such as HIV counseling and testing, as well as family planning with her sexual partner. Mrs. Mebonda Piri, being a lay counselor under the chief program at Ngungu Health Facility in Kabwe, goes in the community to look for hotspots and other high-risk groups such as sex workers, truck drivers, and discarded couples and test them for HIV and initiates ART. Mrs. Piri, a community lay counsellor, follows up a discarded couple after 3 months of testing and retests Mr. Chileshe to ensure that he still remains negative despite the wife being positive.
All of us are aware about the HIV pandemic. I think all media from about 1982 has been talking about the HIV pandemic, and the UNAIDS has a declaration for the 1990, and the 390s, they were 1990, I hear we're about to go to 100, but we're looking for 90% of the people who are actually HIV positive being able to know their status. We're also looking at the second 90, we're saying 90% of those that know their status should be able to be put on antiretroviral therapy. And the 3090 talks about those that are on antiretroviral therapy with good adherence being able to attain viral suppression within a period of 6 months after starting ART.
Zambia Center for Communication program through the ZCCP initiative aims at reducing new HIV infections by increasing high-impact HIV services focused on people living with HIV, discarded couples, young women, and other high-risk groups.
ZCCP has been operational from 2002 in April, basically focusing on implementation of the HIV programs, but we moved into other health issues, which include gender-based violence, ending child marriages, environmental issues. When we started implementing the Stop GBV project, it was a build-up from the Source City program, which started in the same year 2002, and basically we were adapting a lot of materials from Source City, and these were aired on Zambia National Broadcasting Corporation, focusing on the prevention of HIV and AIDS and targeting the various age groups. And from that particular time, we were not in the community present, but from 2010 we started implementing programs in the community.
But really as a project, the Zambia Community HIV Prevention Project, we are working especially on the first and the second 90s to ensure that people are able to know their status. They are put on ART, and we work with partners that help us to ensure that the 3090 as well is attained. And primarily, if you look at the first 90, we are talking about the people who are HIV positive, knowing their HIV status. From that, you can clearly see the prevention aspect of it already. And this is where our project, the ZCCP, USAID ZCCP, comes in to work with the community, as I think the C is really pronounced, the community part, to ensure that the community themselves, they work towards attaining these 90s. And the project goal really looks at us working together to be able to reduce new HIV infections with a key focus on priority populations.
I'm one of the connectors at Ngungu Dream Center.
And my role here is to work with the community, the adolescent girls, identifying them, and also to assist the manager in administrative work, and also to sensitize the parents of the adolescent girls about the Dreams initiative. The process of identifying the girls,
we have to approach the community gatekeepers because these are the people that know the community really well, and they are the ones who can even assist in identifying the girls that are really vulnerable in the community. So once we have those gatekeepers on board, then we get to straight away go into the identifying of the girls.
Our role as Zambia Community HIV Prevention Project is to ensure that our goal of of reducing new HIV infection is realized. And in doing that, we work closely with government structures like the district health office. Where we go, they give us the issues of prevalence rate in the district, because this is spotted countrywide that it's one of the high prevalence rated places where HIV thrives. So we try to look at where HIV is hiding. In order for us to prevent it, we need to go to where it is and try to catch it from there.
Mr. and Mrs. Chilishe of Ngungu community is a discordant couple where the husband is HIV negative whilst the wife is HIV positive and has been accessing counseling services by the chief lay counselor, Mrs. Mebondabwile Piri.
Shukuru ngefyo mwaumfwa firana ishire kuwera futi na kabiri ukweba titwise tupempulane tali nalisaranda ukweba tikula ba window period.
Looking at people living with HIV and AIDS, we're looking at the discordant couples as well. Then the non-injectable, injecting drug users. So these are the populations that we are working with. If you look at these populations, they are populations that are at risk, a higher risk than the general population to acquire HIV.
Hello, twala sambilila pali HIV and AIDS sign.
Adolescent girls and young women who are 10 to 24 years. They are usually categorized and into 10 to 14.
10 years kufika pa 14 years isenuku.
15 to 19 and 20 to 24.
Awakate 15 years kufika pa 19 years isenuku. And by 20 to 24 years, twala kala pape 9.
Specifically why this disaggregation is there is to ensure that we have right messages for the right age. So I think that's specifically why. But mostly right now we are running 8 Dreams houses, and we have 4 of them in Kawe, we have 4 of them in Kaperoposh. And specifically, the main aspect that we deal with this is to be able to, just as our first objective is talks about key determinants of risk behavior being mitigated amongst the priority populations. So we have the Stepping Stones curriculum that we use to ensure that the children get the right messages, the right information, for them to be able to make better decisions about their life, about HIV prevention. But complementing this is a serious aspect of service delivery.
We find them in schools, especially for the 10 to 15. These are the girls that are found in schools. The 20 to 24, we find them at the health centers. These are the girls that are there for different services, like family planning. Yeah, like our clinic here has got cervical cancer screening, so we have that opportunity to capture those girls from there.
Ye aeropone yena ya 12 years yena kubika kumwana kashali mukati mbwana kashikutubika poni bali bachikwete mufumwenye
bana stabuna kuleta ko dream center cause the mayangi youth tenzomvela nsoni kwenda ku clinic kwenda upanga malaini, like in terms of family planning, kwenda clinic na bakulu amai batu kwenda upanga line. So at least banashitabu no tilete lako pafupi pa dream center, at least konstituma mbela na nsoni kubwela na mtabwana wa partners ba tutabwela kuno titaponse visit, at least kama tupasa kwa na makondoms za.
Every project which comes, it has to look at the sustainability. It needs to have a plan. So our sustainability plan is Zambia Community HIV Prevention Project. We'll have to go back to the objectives which we have. When we talk about giving information to reduce risky behaviors of those priority populations, who may be adolescent girls, the mobile populations, people living with HIV, discordant couples, we have the people from those particular populations who are working within the communities to identify their colleagues so that we are able to give them these informations. So these people are really given capacity to be able to do that. Even if the project was called to a halt today, they will still go on with that information to give. Other than that, when we look at other sustainability plans, we look at other structures, not just the district health office, which I have talked about, but we have what we call the DATIFs, that is the District AIDS, HIV and AIDS Task Force, which comprises a number of stakeholders within the community.
We were identified by the district coordinator for ZCCP as to participate in a training which was focusing on community performance index. When the performance index training came up through the coordinating office, ZCCP, we were very delighted as an office that our efforts will now be enhanced and maybe learn new trends and best methodologies of how to increase the intervention and the prevention itself, working with other stakeholders. How do you mobilize these resources to ensure that we are focusing on one common goal? I think for me that was an exciting moment, and I must say it was a wonderful experience.
Specifically looking at segregation by gender, the females, especially the adolescents, is 4 times higher than the males. So it's at 8.6% compared to the males at 2.1% HIV prevalence. And what we're saying is that if we're going to prevent new infections, we need to have a very focused and targeted strategy to respond to the prevention. So meaning that now, if we're talking about the adolescent girls, how are they at risk of being infected from HIV and AIDS? So we're looking at decision making. Power imbalance. They are not able to make their own decisions, either because their parents are poor and so due to cultural challenges, some of them are married off early. But also, the people who have the resources are mainly the older men, for example. So how are they getting these resources or incomes? So you find that Central Province is one of the mobile corridors. It has both migrant and mobile populations. Some are farmers, some are miners, and with the resources that they have, they are leaving their families behind to go and earn some income, meaning that the next vulnerable group that they are targeting, especially the older men, is the adolescent girls.
The key objectives of the ZCCP intervention is to mitigate key determinants of risky behavior among its priority populations, increasing referrals from community to high-impact services, adopt actions to reduce young women's vulnerability to HIV, unintended pregnancy and sexual gender-based violence, strengthen capacity of local stakeholders to plan, monitor and evaluate and ensure quality of prevention interventions. However, ZCCP Kwato, working with its partners in the community with the support from PACT, will strive to meet all the objectives such that behavior change is the key we want to see in the future.